I think I've made up my mind. I want to take this channel in a different direction. If I'm completely wrong about what I'm about to talk about, you must tell me this in the comments. But for a while here, the channel became almost build-centric, and I don't enjoy doing those videos. Most of them I didn't enjoy doing because it was really forced, and some of the builds I didn't even really believe in myself. And the statistics seem to reflect the fact that you guys genuinely enjoy the content where I pick the game apart asset by asset in a statistic heavy way. And I enjoy making those videos way more, because that's essentially the shortcuts that I've discovered through playing this game for so long. So that is the kind of content that I want to focus on, because again, it's more fun. Now today we're going to talk about something that's really not fun, but it's a concept that once you understand it properly, your Warframe experience will be improved greatly. It is perhaps, I would say, the most important skill to have while playing this game. Also, I'm gonna make another build video, but it will be a little while. But you see my Baruch build in the background. I am working on that, and once I think it's as good as it can be, then I'll probably do a video on it. So don't worry about that. Now let's actually talk about this concept of opportunity cost. Now I will really try to keep this short and sweet and to the point, because it is very easy for me to get lost in this topic. I find it very interesting. But alright, so let's just look at this here's picture graph demonstration thingy over here. You know, if you party for an hour, stay with me, and you spend $10, the actual cost of partying for 1 hour is $30, because you could have made 20 working. So not only have you lost 10, you could have gained 20, and the combined of that is 30. I think that's decently easy to understand. Now let's talk about how this applies to Warframe. I've prepared a little bit of an example here. Let's pretend that you farmed out Saren Prime. You've collected the relics, you've cracked them open, and you have been lucky enough to get Saren Prime. Now you're at an impasse. You have two options. You can either sit in trade chat, or you can put it up on Warframe.market and then leave it there. The benefit of putting it up on Warframe.market is that when it sells, it basically does so instantaneously, and you don't have to micromanage it, which allows you to do other things at the same time. On the other hand, you can sell Saren Prime for more in trade chat if you're willing to wait for it, but it's something that you'll have to actively do. Now, here you manage to sell Saren Prime for 350 instead of the market price of 250, but you spend 4 additional hours doing so. So you spend 3 hours farming it and then 4 hours selling it, and this comes out to 50 platinum an hour. Over here you decide to put it up on Warframe.market and then immediately start farming another set of Saren Prime. So we're pretending like she's unvaulted here, and as you'll see, this comes out to 83 platinum per hour. And that's because before you manage to sell the set in trade chat, you've already farmed out another set, and you have an hour to spare to do something else. That means that the opportunity cost of sitting in trade chat is minus 33 platinum an hour. Even though you made 100 additional platinum when selling Saren Prime, the time and investment wasn't worth it, and to be honest with you, I don't think that you will be able to get 4 hours worth of progression with just 100 platinum. Here is another example, and by the way, all of these numbers are completely arbitrary. It's just for the sake of giving an example. So let's say that you have 3 hours to play, and you want to farm some credits in the index. Let's say you decide to go solo. You have 3 hours and you play for all 3 hours because you dive right into it. You are able to get 3,500,000 per hour because of your random teammates not playing optimally. In the end, you will walk away with 10 million credits, 500,000. Now let's say that you spend 20 minutes in recruiting chat, getting a proper team. Maybe something goes wrong halfway through and you have to recruit a new person. It's all considered in these 20 minutes. Again, an arbitrary number. I'm not saying it will take you this long. This is just an example. So then you only get to play for 2 hours and 40 minutes. But because the team is more coordinated, you end up with 5 million per hour, and that comes out to 13,300,000. That means that the opportunity cost of playing solo instead of recruiting a team in recruiting chat is 2,800,000 per hour. Perhaps this hits a little closer to home. I know that a lot of you is farming Aya right now, depending upon how well my ultimate Aya farming guide is doing. So this number here considers these two bounties both on Deimos. The opportunity cost of doing core examples instead of doing brute force is basically 4 Aya. So in other words, by doing core examples instead of brute force, you lose 4 Aya an hour. Spending your time doing something in a less efficient manner is essentially the same as just losing 4 Aya from your inventory, because at the end of the day you just have that fewer amount of the resource that you're farming for. I'll stop myself here, but there are many more examples. I'm not gonna break down everything like this, but just know that opportunity cost is a term that I'll be throwing at you, and when someone inevitably asks me what the hell is opportunity cost, well then I can show them this video. So that's the main intent of this. It's good practice to get into the mindset of thinking, what is the cost of doing this compared to just doing something else, especially because Warframe is a game where most things are tradable on an open market. So it doesn't, for example, intensity. It's a great mod that you should have, as it is used in a very large amount of builds. However, it is very tedious to farm. Luckily, it is a mod that you only need one of, and there are many players in the game who, just by playing the game normally, have a lot of intensity mods. Because of this, it is very cheap. Something that is very cheap but also very time intensive, that's the kind of things that you want to buy. Now, on the other hand, if you have an item that require a relatively low time investment to acquire, but still sells for a relatively high amount, this is often the new items, by the way, because there's just not that many of them circulating yet. These are the kind of items you want to sell. So therefore, for all of you new players, you should try, assuming that you have the resources required to actually do the new content, do that and then sell those items to acquire older items which can have a lot of power and be better than the new items, but which are cheaper simply because there are more of them. I understand that this is not the most thrilling of content, and I know that most of you will not have watched to the end, but do keep in mind that understanding this will seriously help you in your Warframe career, spending your time efficiently. Because think about it, this is a looter shooter. The shooting part is important. You need your power and you need your efficient build. It's important to have fun with the game, but half of the game is looting, and looting efficiently. I don't hope that this is too far off the mark, and I hope that after all you were able to get through this video without too much boredom, and I will see you in the next one, which I promise will be more interesting than this one.